everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a Wheel of Time news roundup. Now, if you're new to the channel, you may not know what that is because it's been a long time since I've done one. Essentially, it's where I take a bunch of little tidbits of Wheel of Time news and cram them together into one video. Now, these things don't normally fit in with the other videos I do, so in order not to miss anything, I kind of put them all together in a little mishmash of different stuff in one news video. So today we're going to talk about the book series, both sales, pre-sales for some very beautiful hardcovers, some audiobook news. We're going to talk about the show. There's some social media posts from both cast, crew, and production team that give us some clues about season 2 or just kind of fun. We're going to talk about those. There's some props we're going to talk about. There's some artwork. And there's also a casting. Yes, there is a casting to talk about. It's Lini, and we're going to talk about the actress and how she's going to fit into season 3. I haven't seen many people talk about it just yet, and we'll cover all of that and probably the reasons why much later on in today's video. So all of that being said, if you're new to the channel, you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers before September 1st when season 2 comes out. And if you like what I'm doing here, like the video, share it with your friends and family. Help us broaden this channel's reach and really helps us out here at What Up. So before we get into the video, I do have to give a slight spoiler warning because we are talking about both the books and the show. So, spoiler warning, if you have not watched the first season of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show or read the first 4 books, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, The Dragon Reborn, and The Shadow Rising of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, be forewarned, I may ruin very minor plot points and very minor character arcs from both of those mediums. Alright, that being said, let's get on to the video. Alright, so the Wheel of Time recently passed a major milestone. That's 100 million copies sold. You want to think about that for a second. 100 million copies for just the Wheel of Time series. Most authors don't do that with all of their books in a lifetime. And the Wheel of Time has done it as a series in 33 years. So The Eye of the World first released in 1990, and since then, as a series, it's 100 million books sold. That's more than 2.5 times the people in Canada where I'm from. That's a lot of books. That's a ton of books. I want to congratulate everybody at Tor that was involved in this over the last 30 some odd years. It's a huge accomplishment, and I am going to say that I am hearing about the Wheel of Time more and more often, so I'll wear my shirts out and about, whether they be just Wheel of Time themed shirts or my What Up shirt. Sometimes people recognize what they're from, and they'll say stuff, which is really very cool. That never happened a few years ago when I wore Wheel of Time themed shirts and stuff outside. Now more people know what it is. I don't know if that's the show bringing more attention to the books, or just in general, people are picking them up more often, but either way, it's actually becoming way more mainstream, and I think that's a fantastic thing. All right, so this has been a point of contention with me for quite some time. So this was posted to Taylor Napier's Instagram stories about a week ago, maybe a little less than that. And at first glance, it's a beautiful picture. Now, Taylor Napier plays Maxim, which is one of Alana Visvani's warders in season 1. First glance, he posted this just to make everyone look jealous. This is his office. It's a very beautiful view. We're pretty happy that he's working, getting prepared for season 3. Then you look at his computer. That's a script. This is 100% a tease to the fandom because he knows what we're like. That SWL spent hours unblurring things, comparing earlobes to different people's earlobes, comparing boots. The fandom as a whole is really interested in the very small details. So, of course, when this got posted, the first thing I thought was, we're going to pull something off of this. And no matter what I've tried, and many other people have tried, we can't get anything off of that script. It's just too low-res of an image. So if you folks know any way to get text off a really low-res image and make it clear enough to read, I'd love to hear from you, because it's beyond my abilities. But I can tell you for sure this is a script because that does match the scripts I've seen for season 1 where they have a watermarked name across it, whether it be the cast member's name or sides for, say, an extra or someone else that's involved in production for that day. There's a watermark on the scripts. So he is reading a Wheel of Time script there, and I'd love to know what it says. All right, so Orbit has recently announced that they're doing another beautiful cover for The Eye of the World. Now, they've recently done a couple of them, but this one here, this is absolutely gorgeous. They're not cheap. I will say that. I've left a link to this down below in the description box if you folks want to order this. But what's interesting about this is that the original date for publication was September 28th, and then they moved it to September 7th, and this was prior to the announcement of season 2 coming out. Now, this information was sent to me by the Shining Walls. I've left a link to their website down below as well. They are a Wheel of Time news website, and they have a lot of fantastic stuff on there too. They sent it to me a couple of weeks ago. I just couldn't fit it into a video, and then we got the release date. So this was this was a little bit of a hint that we were probably getting an early September release date, long before we actually got one from Amazon. So I want to thank the Shining Walls for that. And if you folks want another copy of The Wheel of Time, I mean, I myself have tons of them, but if you folks want another one that is absolutely gorgeous and you have the money to shell out for this, like I said, they are a little pricey. I'd love to link to it down below in the description box. All right, next up is this. This appeared at the very end of the teaser for the announcement of Season 2. So when Season 2 was announced, it was coming out September 1st, they did a little teaser for it. This flashed on the very end of that teaser for half a second, maybe a second. A bunch of eagle-eyed fans saw it, grabbed it, and translated it. Essentially, it's the old tongue, and it reads, "The grave is no bar to my call." Now, I think the first person I saw post this was Omar from Watt Series. He posted on Facebook the translation and whatnot, but many other people translated it. I don't know who the first one was, but the first person I saw do it was Omar, so thank you, Omar, for this. It's absolutely fantastic. But "The grave is no bar to my call," if you're unfamiliar with that saying, if you haven't really read the book series, it has direct ties to the Horn of Valir. Now, the Horn of Valir, when blown, brings back the Heroes of the Horn to fight for the person who blew the horn. So we know that in the Great Hunt, Matt Cawthon blows the horn, and they take part in the final battle, the big, huge battle at the end of that book. We know for sure the horn will be in the second season because Perrin and the Shinearans go and they hunt for the horn to try to get it back after Padan Fain steals it. And we have seen leaked video and pictures of Heroes of the Horn on set in Falma, which basically means the horn is likely to be blown in the last 2 episodes or during sometime those last 2 episodes when they're in Falma. So having the tagline "The grave is no bar to my call" as the tagline for Season 2 is really a no-brainer and really very cool. I hope to do a lot more Easter eggs like this, because fans pick up on this stuff right away. They really do. Now, if you folks were with me prior to the release of Season 1, you probably recognize these images. These come from a marketing thing that Amazon did, about a 30-second clip on the making of Tom's guitar. They did it for Rand's sword, and they did a couple of other little marketing things like this. They're really very neat. And I think I did a whole video just on this particular guitar. Now, the fact that they're making instruments as part of the props show is cool, and it did look really cool on screen when Tom was playing it in the first season. But recently, this was found on Facebook. Now, this is coming from the personal social media of one of the people who make the props, and they're making the props for the 3rd season. So this is really very neat. It's one of the instruments that's going to be used on screen. I would love to get a promo on this, and I'd love to know if this is Tom's or perhaps one of the other musicians that we're seeing on screen. They did cast a ton of musicians for Season 2 and Season 3. I really don't know what they're going to be doing or how they're going to fit into the show, but the fact they're making them props like this, I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous and look really cool. All right, so the next few bits of news come to us from Narg from the Daily Trolloc. Now, if you don't know who Narg is, he's been part of the Wheel of Time fandom for a very, very long time. He used to host a blog called the Daily Trolloc where he talked about the books and the show and whatnot before the release of Season 1. Then he moved on to a Twitter account, multiple Twitter accounts actually, and multiple Instagram accounts because he kept getting banned. And right now he has a Twitter account by the name of the Daily Trolloc and an Instagram account by the name of Wheel of Time Love. I've left a link to both of them down below in the description box. Full credit for this next few bits of news, go to Narg. And if you want to follow him over there, he releases all kinds of stuff. He talks about the Wheel of Time book series quite often. He does reviews. He'll showcase other people's either artwork or things they sell about the Wheel of Time. He talks about the books a fair bit. He also shares his colorful views on the show and a bunch of leaks about the show too. So if you want to follow him on both Twitter and Instagram, you're going to get all kinds of stuff from Narc about the show and the book series. All right, so the first thing that he talks about here is something that's been well known for quite some time, and that is that Rosenpike is releasing, or there is a release date upcoming for The Dragon Reborn. Now, Rosenpike is doing audiobooks. She's done The Eye of the World and The Great Hunt, both absolutely fantastic audiobooks. I'm not a big fan of audiobooks. I'm not. I don't like them. I don't listen to them at all. I've only listened to the Wheel of Time one by Michael and Kate once. Well done. Not my cup of tea. I don't like audiobooks. Rosenpike's version, again, incredibly well done. If you like audiobooks, it's up there. It's really, really well done. Like it's fantastic audiobook. So Narga shared this, including a little clip where you can listen to Rosenpike narrating The Dragon Reborn. Really very cool. If you like audiobooks, I definitely pick up Rosenpike's versions. They're fantastic. Next thing he talks about is this, and this is something else that's sort of it's been kind of a joke in the fandom since last year. Origins is an animated series that went along with the Wheel of Time Season 1 when it came out, and it talked about certain things. So gave backstory or filler information for some things that they weren't covered in the show, and they were really well done. I have nothing but fantastic things to say about them. I really loved them. There was supposed to be 8 for the first season. Episodes 7 and 8 were supposed to be released last August, well after the first season aired. They announced it. It was supposed to come out. It was sort of, whet the appetite to keep people interested in between seasons. And it's kind of been a joke in the community that August means never to Amazon, because they officially said August and then nothing happened. They just didn't talk about it again. So that's what he's talking about here. He's wondering if we're going to see them prior to the release of Season 2. I think that likelihood of us seeing them sometime before Season 2 is pretty high, because they're going to have new ones for Season 2. So they'll likely release these ones before Season 2 comes out. Here's something else he's posted, and this is the fact that David Luther, one of the directors of photography from Season 1, is back working for Season 3 of The Wheel of Time. Now, this has been known for quite some time as well. I mentioned it in one of my other videos a long time ago. No, I think Watt Series did as well. But he is in Prague. He is working for Season 3, and anything from any of the crew or production team that you're going to see on Instagram, Narc follows most of them, so he'll pull their stuff and then repost it for other people to see. So you won't miss anything if you're following Narc over on Instagram or on Twitter. Now, this is the last thing we're talking about, and I mentioned it at the very first of the video, and this was the casting for Lini. Now, Narc pulled this one. His Twitter account, Wheel of Time Love, actually posted this a few days ago, and the fandom's been kind of a little bit of buzz about it. So the actress, I'm going to mispronounce the name, and I do apologize for that. Zuzana Hardcover. She is going to be playing Lini for Season 3 of The Wheel of Time. Now, I tried to verify this with her agent and a few other people. I haven't gotten any official verification yet. So we're going to follow this one under more than likely, but not totally official, if that makes any sense at all. But she's going to be playing Lini for Season 3, and Narg also posted a photo of her in costume, or what he believes to be the costume for Lini for Season 3. And it's actually tagged underneath as 2023 The Wheel of Time. Now, what I can tell you for sure is that we are definitely getting Camelin in Season 3. We're definitely getting the Andorian Royal Palace, or Andoran Royal Palace. I was corrected on my pronunciation of that last video. Sorry about that. Andoran Royal Palace for Season 3, because Shora was on set, seen on set, and she was on set with a bunch of lion banners, which are Andoran banners. So she's definitely in the Royal Palace. She's definitely on set in Camelin. So seeing Lini in Season 3 is probably not going to be a huge shock. Do I think she's going to be a major character? Likely not. Historically, most actors and actresses from Prague who get parts in the show generally have few lines or no lines. Now, this Lini may be the exception rather than the rule, but I think this may be more along the lines of, say, Basil Gill from the first season, where it's more of an Easter egg to the fans. We get to see them, and then we may not see them again, rather than being an integral part of a bunch of plot lines, because they have to cut a bunch of stuff out and move things down. I don't think we're going to see Basil Gill ever again in the show. I think that whole plot line will likely either be cut or merged in some way, shape, or form, and we may not see Lini again. She might just be a one and done. It's possible that she may be a bigger part of a bigger story, and I'm completely wrong here. Again, I'm spitballing. I have no information on this, but let me know what you folks think down below. Do you think that we're going to keep seeing Lini? Will we see Morgase's whole storyline? I won't get into what that is, so I didn't give spoiler warnings for that, but Lini factors not heavily into that, but she is a part of it, and so is Basil Gill, actually. Do you think we'll get them back together on set? Do you think they'll actually film together for perhaps Season 4? I really don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below in the description box, in the comments. Either way, I want to thank Narg for this. Again, the Daily Trolloc on Twitter, Wheel of Time Love over on Instagram if you want to follow him there. And let me know your thoughts on the casting of Lini, as well as all the other stuff we talked about today, because there's a whole lot of stuff crammed in this little video today. A bunch of little tidbits of news. So thank you so much for sticking with us here to the very end. Here's to many more.